If you're thinking about starting a business, there are many things you need to consider. In this video, I'm going to take a look at two critical things you need to think about before you get your business started. The two things to which I refer are, number one, the legal structure of your business. How are you going to structure it legally? I.e., will you be a sole trader? Will you be a partnership? Will you be a limited company? There are pros and cons with each particular structure. A sole trader, for example, you have complete and total personal liability for all debts of the business. So if you set up, for example, a small bookkeeping business, or whatever the nature of the business is, you could have a small shop but trade as a sole trader. If that's the case, then potentially if things go badly wrong, then you are personally liable for the debts. The same principle would apply if you set up your bookkeeping business or your greengrocers or your shop or your coffee shop with a partnership. Each partner is jointly and severally liable for all of the debts of the business. The third option then is a limited company, setting up a limited company. It's slightly more expensive. You'll have an initial setup cost to incorporate your company. You'll have statutory annual returns that you must make to the central or to the company's registration office, and you'll have accounts then to file each year for the limited company. The benefit of a limited company is that the liability of the company is limited to its paid up capital. In other words, you have some protection from a personal perspective in respect of borrowings of the business. However, from a practical perspective, this can be illusory enough, because if you go to the bank, for example, to borrow money for your company, to purchase a new premises or purchase equipment or expand or grow your business, the likelihood is that the bank is going to ask you to sign a personal guarantee in respect of the company's borrowings, because the bank knows if the company goes wallop, then they're not going to get paid. It's going to be liquidated and they won't be paid. So they will look for a personal guarantee. So limited liability is all very well in theory, and from a legal perspective it's perfectly fine. However, in practice you'll find that lenders will look for personal guarantees, and some suppliers will as well. The second thing you need to consider seriously is the whole question of cash flow. Cash flow is not to be confused with profitability. You could have a perfectly profitable business, but if you run out of cash, particularly early on when people or suppliers are going to be watching you like a hawk, then you could actually have a perfectly profitable business that goes bust, out of business, because it's unable to pay its debts as they fall due. In other words, it has simply run out of cash. So don't confuse cash flow and profitability. They're two entirely different matters, and you need to be careful that you have adequate cash flow, cash resources for the early part of your business, when it will tend to gobble up cash resources. They're the two things you need to consider strongly, along with many other things, but A, the legal structure of your business, and B, cash flow.